back, dreamers. Today I'm talking to you about audio synchronization, obviously a fundamental part of my animated projects. I'll try to do everything in a very simple way by giving you a little of what I think are the basics to get a good result. And what is equally important is that everything you hear in this case is mounted on Dreams, without the need for other applications or software. So, if you are interested in the topic, I advise you to open your ears well. Before continuing, important news about Dreams 2. We are in the final stages, the private beta is about to start. I hope that when you see this video, we'll already be there. I can't officially tell you that I'm part of it, but if that's the case, you will be the first to know everything with a dedicated video. What I advise you is to stay connected, something will surely happen soon. If you haven't already done, subscribe. It doesn't cost anything, the survival of the channel is worth it to me. Since we are on the subject of audiosync, I want to tell you about a feature within Colanote that sponsored the video. And it's precisely the sound of the pen at each single passage. It may seem banal, but I find it really beautiful. I remind you that this option is included in the premium version of the app, which you can access with a 50% discount with my code below. There are many ways to get sound effects to use in our videos. I usually downloaded them from the web. There are many sites that make them available for free and without royalties. Pixabay is definitely one of them. Here you can find thousands of sounds that you can download from your iPad and use directly in Dreams. Obviously, creating your own sounds would be much more professional. But my projects, so to speak, are really low cost at the moment. So I need to speed up the work process without having to also make the sounds. But let's do a very simple exercise right away. Synchronizing the sound of the fire here. I'm going to retrieve it directly from my files. You can find your downloaded audio files directly here and add them to Dreams. Our audio track also becomes a layer on Dreams that I can move and cut as I want. The interesting thing is that Dreams also provides us with the audio waveform, so we can understand its progress. Very useful because this allows me to synchronize the animation when necessary, where for example there is a more marked crackling, I can decide to increase the volume of the flame accordingly. I then use the move and scale tool to increase the shape of the fire at that point to obtain an effect synchronized with the audio. Everything is very simple for now, but if I wanted to add a sound effect for the sparks, well, I'd have to be very precise in synchronizing it. But let's see immediately how to do it. In the meantime, I'll add a new track. I'm then going to insert this file. I choose cracking bones for the sparkles. Will ask me why. I think it's very organic sound. I liked trying it. And above all, sometimes you don't find what you're looking for and you have to adapt it to the context. For now I will only need a portion of this sound effect. I will synchronize it with a spark, so I will cut this part. Be careful not to cut the waveform, even if, as we'll see, this does not always have to be the case. Sometimes even the sound can be cut off. At this point I want to synchronize that sound with this spark. I take the layer and move it forward. And at the exact point where the animation starts, I also start the audio track. Now let's try from the beginning. If the fire in the background very organic. Here cut. Ok. Obviously in this case too, everything is very simple, but the fundamental thing is that you can do everything here on Dreams without the need to do it on another software, and this allows you to synchronize animations and sounds as you want. Now let's do one last exercise on my animal project that I'm carrying on. Here I'm taking audiosync work to a new level. Having also created the background music, I'm trying to edit everything with the best possible timing. The soundtrack also has to go at the same pace with the scenes. In this case, for example, with that na na na, I basically made the music make a transition between scene 1 and scene 2. Keep attention, it's coming again. The soundtrack is really very important. Let's do one last exercise in my new project. In this scene 5, for now there is only the soundtrack, which I'm closing for now. I want to add the sound of a bullet hitting the car body. As you can see, at this point many hits take the body of the car. The goal is to add this sound. On a new track I add the sound effect I need. I go and look for it among my files. There are a few. I saw it. Where are you? Okay, here. Okay, now let's listen. Okay, let's take this. First I cut the stitch I need so I can place it where I want. As for all types of levels, also in this case, if I want to restore it to its original state, I simply have to lengthen it. Now I choose a point in the timeline where a bullet hits the body of the car. For example, in this point. Okay. I move the audio file exactly where the animation starts. Using the waveform, I bring the layer to the exact point. I think here. Okay, I think is good. Well, dreamers, we have reached the end of another fantastic tutorial. Today I have explained to you a little how I add audio tracks within my projects. A very important part that needs to be known because our videos, in addition to telling a story through images, also need to be listened to. And the possibility of doing all this directly here on Dreams, well, speed up the workflow a lot. I remind you again that the beta phase of Dreams 2 is approaching. Fingers crossed. My discount code for the premium version of Collinote is always active. Check it out if you like. You can find all the information below in the description. Write me in the comments anything that comes to mind. Thanks for watching and